compliments my outfit, I tell them two things: how much it costs, and that I thrifted it. In fact, everything you see here is thrifted, including the rack behind me. I love thrifting. I've been doing this since I was a kid, going along with my mom, and it's something that offers personal style, creativity, and a soul, something that's rarer and rarer with the advent of fast fashion. Well, much of my wardrobe is thrifted, and by fate or deliberately weak will, I live above a thrift shop. Back in college, I started a magazine all about thrift culture. Myself and my friends, we were just stewing with creativity, and we wanted to do something to make a difference, make an impact. We styled editorials all with thrift garments. We hosted pop-up thrift shops in the local community at an old art gallery. I remember so vividly the line of people lined up to shop secondhand. It was insane, like nothing we'd ever seen before. We put the money towards a print magazine and had no advertisements, all in an effort to make reuse modern. And then in a few years, reuse became modern. Secondhand mainstreamed, latching onto Wall Street and Gen Z alike. It's said to be worth $64 billion by 2024. Now, as a journalist trained to see both sides, all angles, and hidden agendas, I'm not convinced thrifting alone will save fashion. We've got roughly 10 years, according to climate scientists, to put the world back on track to combat the worst effects of climate change. Is fashion bold enough? Fashion is out of control. If you look at the emissions impact, the CO2 equivalent of UK, France, and Germany combined is attributed to the fashion industry. Over the last 15 years, we wore our clothes less and less, but production skyrocketed. Microplastics, another huge issue that apparel contributes to with synthetic clothing, being shedded from our clothes in the washing machine and into the ocean. There are so many perpetual issues in fashion, but we're not able to change fashion unless we look at these issues in greater depth. Instead of a light bulb moment, I had a whiteboard moment. Myself and my then editor, who's now a longtime friend and mentor, we took our curiosity into practice. We etched out the future of fashion in dry erase marker, nonetheless, and we asked some of these big questions on how we can change fashion to meet the pressing demand, the urgent deadline that is needed. Why overproduce it all? Back in February 2020, we saw a direct equivalent between shutting off factories, slogging retail footfall, and a decline in emissions. There are already designers embracing circular fashion, zero-waste practices. There's no need to pump out more and more stuff when we can use what we already have. How do we ensure fairness on the farm and in the factory too? Worker-centric models are in existence, and they're providing dignified and equitable work that is already linking designers with this incredible craftsmanship and something that makes fashion and creative and beautiful. Why don't we use the clothing and material that we have? There's an over-reliance on virgin materials, and instead we could be using dead stock, textile waste. Experts in the reuse sector say that there's so much stuff, we're not going to run out of it. Let's put this into practice. Why can't consumers know everything about how their clothes are made? We've seen progress towards full transparency with human rights nonprofits like Remake, or Gen Zers on TikTok asking these questions of corporations that hadn't been asked before. This isn't stopping, it's accelerating. We're seeing this drive, this push, and full public disclosure may be in the near future. Now, countless other questions could be asked, but the point is it takes guts to ask these questions, to lead with authenticity, and to do something before it's cool. Do you want to make a bold statement in fashion? One of my favorite books is Fashionable Savages by John Fairchild, who put women's wear daily on the cutting edge of fashion journalism. My favorite quote from this book is by Cuban-born American designer Luis Estevez, and I'll quote it to the best of my ability. "I love fashion. It's the most exciting and the most important, and at the same time, the least important and the most ridiculous thing in the world. I hope I grow tired of fashion before fashion grows tired of me." Now this really speaks to how so many people feel in this industry. Just the constant output and the churn and the endless creativity, the question of what's next. Sometimes making a bold statement in fashion is as simple as wearing your clothes longer, shopping secondhand, and using what you have and valuing your clothes. But it's not so simple that any one change alone can fix fashion. Everyone has to get involved. And the solutions exist. That's what's important. We need more people acting boldly. I want to leave you with this. It's my alter ego, Fashion Kills. Picture it in red, drippy font. It's something I adopted also back in college when I was confronting the issues in fashion, the expense of people and planet for the sake of profit. I keep it in the back of my mind whenever I'm writing a story. How can I be bold? How can I be authentic? So whatever form it takes for you, being bold in fashion is what we need more than ever. And sometimes it's not only dressing the part, but acting the part.